had the best week of practice this week, and they're coming off their best game of the season and their last regular season win.
All 6 of Furman's Southern Conference championships happened between 1971 and 1980. They were the gold standard for the league back in the 70s. Now Jalen Slauson hoping this year's edition can get to the big dance.
And that's a big-time move by Slauson right out of the gate. Only a 31% three-point shooter. Stayed down on the shot fake, because if Slauson gets ahead of steam towards the bucket, he is a fantastic finisher because of his superb athleticism, Pete.
So a Citadel team hang around against Chattanooga in the first game of the day after they played last night. Mercer had an easier time of it in their game, a decisive win over Western Carolina Friday, than the Citadel did in their contest against ETSU, but an early turnover by the Bears.
It's going to be something to keep an eye on, Pete. They have to take care of the ball, does Mercer, because of Furman's ability to get out and play so fast. Great cut by Bothwell in the finish.
Conley Garrison given the assist. The transfer from Division II Drury has been a huge addition this year.
He's been terrific, and it's always something different with him. An excellent defender and somebody that when the team is struggling to get going, he's been able to pick it up. Conley Garrison, like you said, an excellent addition.
Felipe Hasse thought he had a 3. Garrison will try for a tray. The rattle, the bounce, and the Paladins run out to a 7-0 lead. Greg Gary, he's seen this movie before. When his team faced Furman in Macon, Georgia, about a month ago, Paladins built a quick lead and never looked back. Furman's trying to make it 15 straight wins in the series against the Bears.
And when Furman gets to playing fast basketball, they can attack closeouts, and Mike Bothwell, such a smart cutter off the ball. But this team, if they move it quickly and play with pace, Furman is difficult to guard, especially when shots are falling. And Conley Garrison opening up. You see him there with a red water bottle, opening up, playing aggressive from the jump. And that only bodes well for the Paladins.
Furman averages over 78 points a game. They outscore the opposition by better than 9 a contest. They're not a great rebounding team statistically, but they're the kind of ball club that is able to, let's just say, create the rebounds they need. On a defensive end, they stress deflections as much as any team in the country. Bob Ritchie's goal is to get 30 deflections a game. And you will see when the Paladins are playing well, they are completely able to disrupt the flow of the opposition's offense.
Well, they lead the Southern Conference in steal percentage. And what does that mean? That's live ball turnovers from the other team. They get out, they go, and whenever they're able to space the floor, they have the athletes to finish and guys to shoot it from the perimeter as well. A really fast Furman team.
An experienced squad. Alex Hunter playing in his 5th year, defending the ball as Robertson brings it front court. Sean Walker over to Robertson. Thought about the shot, gives to Hasse. Plenty of time on the clock. 16-point effort last night for Robertson. Glisson feeding Hasse for the first Mercer bucket of the game.
Nice high-low action. Glisson recognizing that the help was going to come up and get out of the way when the ball was swung. Perfect positioning on the pass. And Hasse needs to play well today for Mercer to compete.
Mike Bothwell, complete player for this Bob Ritchie team. Here's Marcus Foster, rising star on the Paladins program. And there's Robertson for the Bears. Foster's really shown improvement in his 3rd year with the Furman team this season. Walker from the wing. Couldn't get it to go down.
Slauson, this is what makes him different to guard if you're at the 5 position. His ability to grab and go. Big time shot by Hunter if he was able to make that fall. But Slauson has the ability. Grab and go rebounder. Take it off the rim. Initiate the break yourself. And it's such a matchup nightmare for somebody like Hasse.
Jalen Johnson, neither he nor Hasse got the start last night, but they're in the lineup this evening from the get-go. Bothwell, so strong on the finish, back out to a 7-point advantage.
Big time move by Bothwell. If he's able to get to his left hand around the bucket, you can go ahead and count 2 points. So big and physical around the rim as Bothwell.
Lamar Robertson, point guard who had to take over for the injured Neftali Alvarez. Johnson began his career at Tennessee, then went to Wake. Now he's at Mercer, and Hasse fouled on the floor.
Good job, Hasse, working the switch. And Furman switches a lot, so what's going to happen is they're going to get matched up guard to Hasse or guards to Glisson. That backside has to be active and you can't foul. So ideally what could happen is Furman is going to front the post and rely on help side on the back. That is where they thrive because they're so fast in the half court defensively.
Greg Gary talking to his junior forward, James Glisson, who's checked out. Shannon Grant, biggest player on the floor, has checked in for the Mercer Bears. Did some good early scoring last night to set the tone in their runaway win against Western Carolina. Shot clock under 10. Hasse, 6'9". He's got the mid-range game to go with the long range.
And you see he got the switch on J.P. Pegues. Just take your time, finish the shot. Mercer playing extremely big right now with Hasse at the 4 and Grant at the 5.
Slauson, guy who's really improved. He's always had the athleticism and all that, but boy, he has really upped his game since arriving 4 years ago. Pegues stepped out of bounds when he took that pass. Point guard of the future for the Furman team, and he's seen his game grow in his first season with the Paladins.
Defensive player first is Pegues. Bob Ritchie really high on this young man from Nashville. Does a really good job pestering the ball handler. Needs to find his offense a little bit more as his career progresses, but Coach Ritchie really happy with the role he's played so far this season.
Slauson's a big guy, and of course Grant just towers over him. Couldn't get the shot to go. Paladins jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Bothwell will pull up over Grant. Rebound, the battle. Last touch by the Mercer Bears. And Furman will keep in their end on the other side of this official timeout. Game 3 on quarterfinal Saturday. Ingalls Socon basketball here in Asheville. Mercer Bears trying to knock off the #2 seed Furman Paladins, who hung in the hunt for a regular season title for most of the campaign. Bob Ritchie, what an eventful basketball season it's been for him. Back in early January, he and his wife Jessica welcomed their 3rd child. Because she was so close to delivery, he missed their New Year's Day game at VMI, and then their son was born overnight on the day of the UNCG game on the road. He was there for the birth and then coached that night on about an hour of sleep. And his team got him a 4-point win. Garrison to beat the shot clock. Might be that kind of night for the Paladins.
Big time shot by Garrison at the end of the clock, no less. But Mercer's cross-matched in their man-to-man. They put Grant on Bothwell and completely backed him up in the paint. Bothwell, a pretty good shooter in his own right at 35%, but they're just going to live with him taking off the dribble jump shots, it seems.
See the aggressive reach of the Paladins, again, going for deflections as much as anyone in this league or in the country. First basket for Mercer for someone other than Felipe Hasse, and it's back to a 6-point deficit.
Kamar Robertson was terrific yesterday in their win to get in this position to play today. But what a cut by Garrison. Might have got pushed in the back, but good penetration by Bothwell. Brings the help side over. Got to keep your head on swivel if you're on defense. Excellent cut by Garrison, who's able to finish.
8 quick points for Garrison, who combined for 17 in the 2 Furman wins during the regular season. Bears will want a pace that keeps things somewhat slow, I would suppose. Robertson to Hasse. Hasse scored just 6 in the last meeting down in Macon. Couldn't get it to fall right there. He's out of the gate with 4 so far. Paladins enjoying their biggest lead of the night. Tyrese Huey just checked in the game and gets on the stat sheet the wrong way.
You know what I don't like about that call, Pete, is the fact that it has been a physical 3 games coming into tonight, and then you're going to call that one. But excellent penetration by Mike Bothwell, and Garrison realizes you see the back of your defender's head, you cut to the basket. Good awareness by both players on that occasion.
Joe Anderson went for the steal. He's happy to see the Mercer Bears in the first meeting this season. He had a big game against them. We'll get more into that. Discussion among 2 of our 3 officials. You see Chris Ford and R.B. Clyburn talking.
Mercer substitution number 11, Javon Tucker.
Javon Tucker gave some really good minutes yesterday with his energy on the defensive end. Freshman still kind of learning the ropes for Coach Gary, but has a future in this program to be a high-level player.
Lamar Robertson, junior out of Alpharetta, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. Double team Kane. Tucker, he'll pull up for the jumper. Nice touch. Guy who during the regular season was not much of a factor at all in the rotation.
Played well last night, and it was just 15-foot jump shots just like that off the dribble. If he's able to make those with consistency, he can provide some value.
Foster gives to Anderson. Anderson to Garrett Heen.
And Joe Anderson, his stats don't jump out at you. Number 22 from Furman. They don't jump out at you, but he's so crafty with the basketball, changes directions really well. The Maryville, Tennessee native can do a lot at the point guard position.
Listen, after getting a brief rest to Walker, they look low for Grant. Robertson, one-hander, gets the roll.
It's been his weekend so far. Anywhere he needs to get, he's been able to. Robertson, a point guard or a power forward in a point guard's body, plays with so much physicality.
Marcus Foster can't get the finish. Robertson pushing the pace. Chance to get as close as they've been in a while for the Bears. Grant. Heen defends. Shoulder lowered. Battle for the rebound. Won by the Paladins. Pegues.
That was excellent defense by Heen, who's probably giving up close to 80 pounds to Grant. Just do your best, play straight up, and make him make tough shots over the top.
Hunter 0 for 2 so far from long range. Aaron.
Seems like Aaron's mic's disconnected, but
Number 13,
Garrett Heen committing his first personal foul. 2 on the Paladins here in the early going. Shannon Grant from Socon, Alabama, was the second player from his high school in the span of a decade to get a Division I scholarship. 6'10", listed at 280.
Jordan Jones.
He'll get a breather. And some other substitutions, including Jordan Jones, freshman who really grew during the year. Point guard from right there in Macon. And looking to get it in. Kicks it on the wing to Walker. Glisson, defended by Hunter, has the size. Offensive foul.
And what goes right on one side is the same call on the other. You have to applaud it being fair that way, but there's going to be a lot of mismatches today. It's going to be interesting to see how that's called, Pete.
Furman Paladins trying to get to the semifinals. They were upset in the quarters a year ago. They lead by 6 in our opening half. Well, with Terrence Oglesby and Aaron Summers, Pete Yanity with you here at the the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Bob Ritchie, what a great start to his head coaching career. 5th season guiding the Paladins. Quickest in their program history to get to 100 wins. And among the top 10 in active winning percentage, and the youngest in that group. Up there with some very impressive names. But Bob Ritchie has taken hold of this team. Nico Medved got things going in the middle of the last decade when he departed for Drake and has since landed at Colorado State. Bob Ritchie took it and continued the growth and had a couple of 25-win seasons recently. With a big run, could get to that number this season. Aaron.
Talking to Coach Ritchie, he said that this particular team, even though he's had a lot of success here with Furman and enjoyed coaching each one, has been the most fun to coach. He said even when we don't play well, it's really hard to get mad at them because they just come ready to work the next day. It's just been what they do in terms of preparation. They're just ready to go, and they always are ready to play.
Mike Bothwell, front and center in that. Long time in the program, and a guy who has grown, and it's like having a coach on the floor. Shot clock down to 3. Bothwell out of bounds, lost over to Mercer. They were probably going to have a violation anyway.
Yeah, and to elaborate on what Aaron said, it's an older team too. If you look at some of the older pieces, Hunter's a senior, Bothwell's a junior, Schlossen's a senior, Garrison, he's a 5th-year guy, transfer from Division II. I mean, that extra year has just changed a lot of things for a lot of different teams, and just added it's a bigger pool of players this year, and you get a more mature group because of it.
And interestingly, he's a coach who regularly still redshirts guys. You almost never hear about that in college basketball these days. Shot clock at 4 for Sean Walker. Pulls up over Foster. Big bucket. Son of a coach. Always seems to have great court awareness.
Really known as a defender. He does a terrific job on the other end, but one dribble, up and over, has good athleticism and length with his arms.
Garrison off to a good start. Strong finish. Use the extra hand to make sure he could get that one off the glass. And he's out of the gate with 10 points so far in less than 10 minutes in this game.
And the thing about Kylie Garrison is he never forces the issue, never takes a bad shot, just so cerebral in his approach. And he's a really good athlete that can get over the top.
Listen, might have had to force that with Bothwell closing. Paladins have a chance to match their biggest lead of the night, and Walker called for the foul as he tried to defend Garrison.
Mercer foul on 25. Sean Walker Jr. his first, team's second. Mercer substitution number 1.
Robertson comes back in after a couple of possessions that end up at the end of the clock. He has been the game manager for the Mercer Bears so far, but Jordan Jones gets a breather, all Socon freshman player. But you need reliable in the tournament.
Off the inbound, Garrison got it back, but he couldn't get that to fall. Everything else had gone down that he'd attempted up until that shot. Now 4 of 5 from the field. Hasse over to Walker in the corner. You noticed a really good ball movement last night by Mercer.
Yeah, both teams moving it at a high level. The difference in this game than last night is Furman is so switchable. Wow, that was a late whistle.
Foster picks up the personal foul.
Really late whistle, unfortunate call. I thought Marcus Foster did a nice job sliding in front. But the difference today between who Mercer's playing is Furman is so fast around the perimeter and getting to and from spots. They're going to have to move the ball crisply in order to get open looks.
Robertson played his high school basketball at Cambridge, just outside of Atlanta. 78% from the line this year.
Mercer substitution number 20, Jalen Johnson.
Bears women's team has already made it back to another Southern Conference championship game. They'll try to win a 4th title in 5 years against the Furman Paladin women. Coming up at noon on Sunday. We'll have that for you on our network and wherever you're watching here tonight. And their men's teams going at it in a quarterfinal battle here this evening, back to a 4-point game.
And Mercer's doing a nice job controlling tempo. Furman's gotten out and ran a couple of possessions, but for the most part, this game's been played in the half court. That's where Mercer needs to keep this game.
Garrison has 10 of his teams, 18 points, and Slauson able to get back in the scoring act.
He might have gotten away with a couple of steps, but nonetheless, excellent pass by Marcus Foster.
Hunter defends Robertson. Robertson first lost the handle, then lost his footing. Johnson, 6'6", spins. Got it off the front of the rim.
Nice move by him. He's a little bit slight of frame, but he's got such good length that he's going to be able to finish over the top of Bothwell, who's kind of built in an opposite manner. Bothwell wide in his shoulders. Johnson just really long, can finish over the top.
Tough assignment for James Glisson. Now he switches over to Garrison. Hunter out to Bothwell. Pretty much anyone on the floor can shoot a 3 effectively for the Furman team right now. Garrison, catch and shoot. Left it short. Slauson couldn't find the handle, but they're going to say it'll stay in the Mercer end.
And the ball is swinging from side to side, and this is what's happening. Mercer is switching everything as well, and the ball is moving from side to side. So those skip passes, if they're on target, that's when whenever you're going to be able to get the ball in the post. Slauson needs to continue to work even when the ball is moving away from him.
Lob to Slauson. From the wing, Pegues.
And that was needed. And whenever you're playing Furman, you cannot make mistakes off the ball because they're going to make you pay every single time with their ability to shoot the 3.
Pegues' first points this season against Mercer, didn't score in the regular season games. 7-point lead for Furman. Johnson, not that time. Hasse battling and eventually Glisson. Now Johnson, too strong. Hunter, quick move, the ball was kicked. Furman will keep it. Timeout on the court. Jalen Johnson trying to make a push with the Mercer Bears. They're looking for the upset tonight in Asheville.
Southern Conference men and women's basketball tournament. We have men's action today presented by Ingles, and luckily I'm here with an Ingles spokesperson, Caleb Peak. Not only are we bringing the fans back this year and have a lot of fun events for them, but there's a lot of charity opportunities here that Ingles brought as well.
There certainly are. How about this environment? The Mercer student section is right on top of us. Excellent spot for a tournament here in Asheville. But you're absolutely right. We have our Hoops Against Hunger campaign going on once again. I forget how many years now this has been happening, but it's a tradition here at the Southern Conference tournament now. And 1 out of every 5 kids, 20% of kids here in Western North Carolina have food insecurity. And that's a number that's just unfathomable to me. So that's where we're asking our Southern Conference fans to come out and help. We're accepting food donations here at the tournament. You can also text HOOPS to 345-345 to donate, to make a donation online, a financial donation. So every little bit helps, right? Whether it's food, whether it's dollars, you can absolutely make a difference right here in your local community.
All right, give me a little update on the mascot challenge.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Give me an update on the mascot challenge.
Well, Western Carolina had the lead coming into today. Since that time, Wofford has taken the lead with over 14,000 votes now. Furman is quickly climbing the ladder as well. So you can go to InglesHoops.com and make your vote for your favorite mascot. The winner gets a $1,000 donation from Ingles, and will also submit a $1,000 donation to Hoops Against Hunger in the name of the winning school. So $2,000 is the ultimate prize. All it takes is your vote could end up being the ultimate difference.
Awesome stuff, Caleb. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pete.
And so the Furman Paladins trying to get a win on the court tonight, and perhaps another big win on the weekend as well in the Ingles Socon Mascot Challenge. Alex Hunter at the line, proficient in so many things, and a guy who this year at 69%, but he's been higher in his career. Furman has been the Socon leader in assist-to-turnover ratio the past 2 seasons. They've been front and center this year, and the quality of point guard play they get out of this guy is a big reason for that.
Well, they never turn the ball over, and the great thing about Furman is they don't ever really have only one guy on the floor that can handle the basketball. At times, they have 5 guys that can take care of the basketball at a high rate, and because of that, it relieves pressure on a guy like Alex Hunter. But started out the season, Pete, on a tear, shooting over 50% from 3 for the first half of the season. And man, this has been a physical tournament up until this game, Pete.
First personal foul on Slauson. First time in the game, the Paladins have enjoyed a double-figure lead. Bob Ritchie, and to his left, an assistant sitting down, Jeremy Groh, who was the head coach that day, New Year's Day, up at VMI when Bob was away from the ball club. One of the up-and-coming coaches on that Furman staff. Robertson defended on the wing by Huey. They'll reset with Hasse. Bears won last night, scoring 81 points. They're going to need to pick up the pace to get anywhere close to that. It'll be tough against the defensive opponent they're facing. Hasse, will they count it? They will, and he'll head to the line.
That's where your size advantage comes into play, is on the offensive glass. Nice job, Hasse, staying consistent, attacking the offensive glass. He's able to grab the carom and put it back in. But, you know, here's another thing with switching, is if you're going to continue to switch 5 ways, if you're Furman, you're going to have some cross matches, and Hasse is going to end up on a Joe Anderson from time to time. You got to do your early work boxing out if you're Anderson and get into their legs away from the hoop, because if they get in there close, there's not really a whole lot you can do, Pete.
Hasse, the South Carolina transfer, now with 7 points in the game, and that leads the Bears team. They're trying to hang around. Mercer lost their starting point guard back in December, Neftali Alvarez. He returned for a couple of games against Chattanooga and Socon play, but they had to really change a lot about what they do. Hunter with 10 on the shot clock. Slauson firing for 3. Can't get it. Bothwell scramble for the ball. Bears all around. The arrow will send it the other way.
Jump ball, possession arrow.
That's Jalen Slauson settling a little bit. Ball fake, get to the cup, use your athleticism. When Glisson comes out to guard you, you are that kind of athlete. You can get downhill and create something.
Number 5, Marcus Foster.
Garrett Heen will check back in. Slauson and Huey will get a breather. Marcus Foster also back on the floor. And now Garrison returns to action.
Also number 51, Conley Garrison.
Paladins showing a little bit of full court defense, not necessarily a pressing team. And they'll back off. Robertson during the regular season combined for 27 points against the Paladins. Give him 2 more here tonight. He's got 8.
He's been strong attacking the basket. Whenever he gets his shoulder past you, he controls where you're at. For the most part, Mercer really moves the ball well, Pete, but he has been the exception as far as putting the ball on the floor. And another strong move by Marcus Foster as well. One of the most improved players in the Southern Conference this season. 26
points in his 2 games prior coming into the tourney, and he's been hovering between 10 and 14 points for most of the Socon schedule. Been a really good addition to their scoring arsenal. Does a lot of things well, like forcing turnovers. Bothwell.
How about Marcus Foster? Getting up in, you're going to get switches. You're going to have to guard bigger guys. Get up in there. Swipe at the ball. Excellent on-ball defense by Foster.
One of those players they redshirted a couple of years ago. Simply they had too many guys on their roster that he wouldn't be able to get minutes over. Paladins lead back out to 9. Shot clock at 5. Garrison forcing the turnover. 4th so far. Heen on the finish.
How about Heen catching the ball going away from the basketball? Big time finish. This Paladin team active, causing turnovers. And Conley Garrison fronting the post, doing an excellent job denying entry with that size mismatch.
Greg Gary, the head coach of Mercer, forced to call his 2nd time out of this opening half because Furman is doing things like this.
Creating turnovers, that's the biggest thing. And how about Marcus Foster? The pitch ahead ends up in Bothwell's hand. He'll flush it. And then the next time down, Conley Garrison creating the turnover, the tough catch and tough finish by Garrett Heen.
Furman's campus in Greenville, from the front door of this arena to the front door of their campus, you can make it in less than an hour. It's on the north side of Greenville, actually closer to Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Greg Gary, 3rd season at Mercer. Mercer enjoyed success under their previous head coach Bob Hoffman. They were in the A-Sun for most of his tenure, but came into the Southern Conference. Until last year, had not been effective in the Socon tourney. At least in this era for them. They went 3-1 last year to bump their record to 5-7 in the Socon. From 1921 to 1923, maybe you remember it, the Bears went 8-3 in 11 Socon tourney games way back in the day. Then they went their separate way. And after many years as a Division I program, original member of the old Trans-America Athletic Conference that became the A-Sun, but they eventually joined the Socon.
Sorry to interrupt you, Pete.
That's all right.
Garrett Heen's activity defensively is changing things for Furman.
Hunter to Foster. Goaltend against Tucker.
Garrett Heen getting out, and they're switching 5 ways whenever Slausson's in the game, but his defensive activity everywhere, hands are everywhere. And then they can get off to the races. 3 possessions, 3 turnovers in a row, and 6 points. And that one, those 2 going to Marcus Foster.
13-point lead. Tucker. Good job saving that to Johnson. 4.5 to go opening half. Robertson, he and Hasse have been the offense.
Goodness me. How good has Robertson been? Just forcing his way into about 6 feet because of his brute strength at the point guard position, able to hold guys off and knock shots in.
Had a 16-point game last Saturday and a loss to Western Carolina, and 18 before that. Or 16 points last night against Western Carolina, 18 against Wofford last Saturday. Heen feeding in the lane. Batted around, eventually Johnson, and they'll give it to Robertson. Look at the defense by Bothwell. Really good defender. Great save by Robertson. Tucker.
Now they need to pull it out, set something up, get some offense moving.
Catch and shoot Johnson.
That's a quality look, Pete. I mean, you get the ball out, you force the issue a little bit at the beginning, you get lucky, you retain possession. Get the ball out, create something for your offense, you're able to get something good.
Bothwell hung up on the baseline. Good look for Pegues.
Ball movement has been high level for Furman here early, out to a 14-point lead. J.P. Pegues, he doesn't score a lot, but he has that ability.
Biggest of the night for the Paladins. Johnson out high to Tucker. Shot clock under 10. Listen.
No space, Pete. No space at all. I mean, yesterday Mercer was so good at moving the ball from side to side, not dribbling. Now they're getting stuck on one side of the floor and making it really hard on themselves to get any kind of quality looks in the half court.
Pegues. There's needs some stops. Foster rejected by Johnson. He's a guard, but he's 6'6". That's his 35th block of the year. He's been really good in that regard.
Man, how about he got bullied a little bit to get in the paint, but his long arms and ability to get off the floor, I mean, impressive. But speaking of impressive, Kamar Robertson has been different today. The lone guy that's really carrying this offense. 12 points for the young man so far.
37-25 is our score. The Furman Paladins seemingly in control. They're trying to make it a three-peat against Mercer this season. They want to dance for the first time since 1980.
Welcome back. Furman with the 37-25 lead over Mercer late in the first half of play. And Furman lost two really impressive scorers in Noah Gurley and Clay Mounts last season. And a lot of people thought that this team would take a step back. Well, Coach Bob Ritchie said this group took that as a challenge, and they spent all summer long working on their shot. He said this is the hardest working team by far that he's ever had. And that work ethic that they started over this summer just trickled down. Everybody's shots got better, and we're seeing it play out offensively right now. The Paladins are shooting 63% from the floor.
Noah Gurley's now at Alabama.
That's a great point that Aaron makes. And look, Noah Gurley leaving opens the door for Jalen Slauson to be great. And he was backing up Gurley last season, but you just see the defensive capability, and Slauson just oozes with talent. Watch out. Come on, Pete. Come on, Pete. What are we talking about? Jalen Slauson faking it back door. They're so worried about defending the perimeter, Pete, that they're able to find action at the rim. But how about Alex Hunter? Perfect pass. And Jalen Slauson on everybody and their mother. Big time slam. And the perfect pass by Hunter.
Athletic fourth-year player for this Paladins team out of Summerville, South Carolina, Pinewood Prep. His dad was a fine athlete, and he's carried on the family tradition. Three-point play, 40-25, 15-point game. Paladins won by 15 in Greenville, and then won in dominant fashion, really taking a quick lead in Macon and never looking back in the second meeting. Walker defended by Hunter. Hasse on the wing. And knocked away. Another steal for Foster. He has become really skilled at taking the ball away. Came into this contest tonight with 31 steals. Bothwell. Little head fake. Lost the handle. Garrison. Big night continues.
It's target practice. You get in the paint, you collapse the defense, you look out to Conley Garrison, and you could forget about it. Ball movement for Furman at a high level. And on the other end, Furman just defending, Pete. I mean, they are swarming to the basketball, jumping to ball side. It's ball side at such a high level. They are defending with purpose here in the first half.
Robertson coming up on a minute to go. Grant off the deflection. Strong move. Garrison disrupted initially, but Shannon Grant. Mammoth player inside for the Bears. They're trying to use that to their advantage. 43-27 though. Most lopsided game we've had so far today. And really the first four games of the men's tournament, only last night's Mercer Western Carolina game got out of hand. Paladins down to 5. Bothwell well beyond the line.
It's amazing, Pete. The ball just continues to move. They don't get impatient. They had some mismatches. They realized they were a little too far away from the basket, and they continue to go from side to side. It has been an offensive clinic for the Paladins here in the first half. What a performance so far.
19-point advantage. Bears trying to get a little bit closer before the break. Slauson out on Robertson. Crossover. Fade away. Grant. And he's fouled. He'll go to the line, and he landed awkwardly, but he's going to bounce back up.
Foul number 51, Conley Garrison is first, team 7.
unfortunate call. It goes on Garrison. I actually thought it was Jalen Slauson who was going to get the foul call. That would have been his second personal. But I mean, Grant poses those kind of issues. You box out, you continue to box out, and sometimes it doesn't matter. 6'10", 285 pounds. I mean, that's going to win out.
Shannon Grant, 71% in limited trips this season.
Big fella's got good touch. Grabbing at his knee a little bit. Good touch from the free throw line. Soft hands.
He was in some pain when he hit the deck.
And it's tough for somebody like Grant because the game has changed so much, Pete. I mean, everybody's spacing and trying to play with so fast on offense. A guy like Grant, it's difficult at points.
Can't get it to go. Foster. And that's how we arrive at halftime. A dominant opening 20 minutes for the Furman Paladins, trying to continue their dominance in this series. Bob Ritchie's program has won 14 straight against the Bears. They're trying to make it 24 wins in 34 meetings all time, and the Furman head coach visiting with Aaron.
Coach, you're shooting 67% from the floor right now. What's the key to maintaining that type of efficiency?
Well, continue to take care of the ball and manage their switching. And they're switching, which has caused a little bit of problems, but just making sure we're persistent to the paint to get shots off of paint drives versus switch and not settle. I thought we did a much better job of that in the last 10 minutes.
Defensively, you've held them scoreless from outside. How are you liking what you're doing on that side of the ball?
Yeah, we're doing a decent job defensively. Kamar's getting in the paint way too much. They're really trying to post us and play inside out. They got a lot of movement, so we got to continue to talk, communicate our switches, and keep the ball in front.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Furman Paladins doing just fine in their 2022 Socon tourney debut. Mike Bothwell, 9 points in the first half. Conley Garrison and Garrett Heen doing their part. Mercer just trying to hang around against a Furman team that's rolling. Guiding the Mercer Bears, looking for his first win in his 7th meeting against Furman. But as of right now, looks like the Paladins are going to get a 15th straight win in the series unless things change drastically. The feed from Garrison to Slauson. And he'll go to the line and shoot two. Saw the first half stats, and again, dominant so many respects.
Yeah, can we get a replay on this one? Holy cow, that was grown man on grown man crime. I thought Jalen Slauson was about to take the house down. But Jalen Johnson, every bit as athletic, getting up and getting the foul. But goodness me, I mean, two high-quality athletes going at it above the rim.
First foul in the game on Jalen Johnson of the Mercer Bears. And Slauson, 78% of the season. A couple of free throws made to extend the lead beyond 20 points. Mark Robertson bothered at one point during the Socon season with an ankle issue. In fact, the last time these teams met, he was in a lot of pain. Glisson, as Garrison nearly stole it, and James Glisson, he'll have to have a gigantic second half if Mercer's going to get back in this game.
Late rotation by Garrison coming over, but Slauson still, with his athleticism, almost able to recover. The nice pick and roll action by Mercer to start out.
Bothwell to Hunter. Bothwell, strong drive, blew right past the defender Johnson.
And you notice the defense is so spread out for Mercer. You attack from the top of the key, there's no help to be found. Big time move by a big time player in Bothwell.
Slauson coming out to defend. One of the steals leaders in the Socon. Nearly 60, the defensive player of the year. Robertson with 10 on the shot clock. Johnson from the wing. Garrison came out, but a little bit too late.
Jalen Johnson's a nice player, 6'6", can step out, knock down shots, the lefty with a smooth release.
Found a home for his final season of college basketball. Does not want this to be his final game. Slauson spins. And another foul. And Ase came over and got him with the body.
Nice move, and this is what makes him special. So versatile with the basketball, has some shift to his game, has good size, a potential pro. I mean, his versatility on the defensive end is what raises a lot of NBA scouts' eyebrows, but as well as his ability to pass the ball on the perimeter, handle the ball on the perimeter, somebody to keep an eye on moving forward.
Glisson was actually called for the reach before the bump came from Hase. The NBA
He fits that profile as an
absolutely.
NBA player.
Sure.
Long, rangy, 6'8", wide shoulders, can guard multiple positions, smart player.
He'll bulk up as he gets older.
That's right. And I'm not sure how much he really has to bulk up, Pete, but they say in the NBA they think that they can teach more than anything else. You can't teach body size. You can't teach athleticism. You can teach guys to shoot it a little bit better. So and that's really the only hole in his game at this point, at only about 31%. Jalen Slauson shoots it better. Like my man Sean Walker, if he's able to shoot at a high rate, Slauson could carve out a nice long career for himself.
Bears in this game have not been all that good from beyond the arc. Robertson gets the rebound. That was just their second made three in 9 attempts. 52-35. Robertson, and the foul on Slauson on the bump. And a few years back, Chattanooga had a big man named Justin Toyo, who didn't necessarily have great stats, but the NBA scouts showed up at every game. And one of the scouts said, in the NBA, you either need to be a star or a specialist.
Yeah, not everybody can be a stud. I mean, you got to have those other guys too, and he fits the profile of those other guys. Justin Toyo, who followed Wade as an assistant at VCU down whenever he got the coaching job. Will Wade, who's now at LSU. I mean, the tools are important at the NBA level. Not everybody can be James Harden, but there's a lot of other guys that can fill those other spots on the floor. Whenever you look at pro potential, those are the kinds of guys that flourish at the next level as role guys.
Shot clock, still some time on it. Hasse forcing, making.
Tough shot by Hasse, but the ball's snaking on one side of the floor. That's not good news for Mercer. Guys are loading up ball side. You're going to have to make shots like that all night. It's not going to be good for you.
Drive inside Garrison. He's had a 15-point night.
You got to love Conley Garrison. Does he ever force the issue? The answer is no. Plain and simple. Just takes what the defense gives him. He's the raise guy in a pick and roll action. The tagger was a little bit too late. Big time drive by Garrison.
Listen, the handoff to Johnson. Dangerous pass over to Robertson. Got halfway up. Walker way downtown. And Garrison able to chase down the miss. Mike Bothwell, very versatile player in Bob Ritchie's program from the Cleveland, Ohio area. Hunter. Little spin and a pull-up. He can do more than just shoot threes.
Big time shot, traditionally a setup man, but he's got good quickness, burst off the bounce. He can get into that paint. And solid athleticism. Listed at 6 foot. I think he's closer to about 5'10", but somebody who can really shoot the ball at a high level.
Back to a 19-point lead. Robertson hung up by Foster, gets it back. Looks for a screen from Hasse. Way under, and the foul will be called. A bailout with 4 on the shot clock. Garrett Heen and Furman looking to continue their roll. They're up 56-37 early second half here in Asheville. Furman Paladins looking to advance to the semifinals. They were denied a year ago. They had a significant lead in the final 3.5 minutes or so against VMI last season when they fell in the final game of the night in the quarterfinals. A reminder, along our next our network of stations, Super Conference. What a wonderful 5-part series that is on the Southern Conference, coming August 2022. Check your local listings. That will be a great view in the summertime, detailing the now more than 100-year history of this great conference. Kamar Robertson, he and his team trying to have an historic comeback in the second half against the Mercer Bears, and Robertson on the season 78%, but not that time.
Pete, you were talking about in the break, like Mercer shooting 55% from the field. It doesn't feel like that, and the reason being is Furman shooting 68% all around. It's been an offensive clinic, and Mercer hasn't played bad on the offensive end. It's just defensively right now for Mercer, who's now switching it up into an ultra long 2-3 zone. I like this move, not necessarily because Furman can't shoot the ball, but it's more so because, hey, let's mess up the flow of the offense a little bit. You're shooting 68% from the field. Some things need to mix up.
You've seen Furman a lot this year. Have you seen teams go to a zone against them often?
Just to mix up rhythm. I mean, it's usually 1-2 possessions and out, but goodness me, that was a deep one at the end of the shot clock. But If you'll see, Mercer went 2-3 after the second pass, went back to a man-to-man defense. And all that being said, to get them out of their offense to make it difficult. Nice shot by Hasse.
Soft touch for the big fella. Other end, Socon denied by Hasse. 17th block this year for the native of Chile. 16-point game. Robertson almost traveled. Some coaches will tell you they don't like to play zone because they think their team gets too relaxed. Bullet pass, Glisten.
This is one of the first times all day, Pete, that I've seen Furman's help side come over a little bit late, and Bob Ritchie's going to come over and call a timeout. Offensively, Furman's been great, but it's been Mercer doing everything else and then trying to get back in this game with their intensity.
Bears are 6 of 7 from the field in this half.
And the ball moves up. Jalen Slauson gets up. He thought he got goaltended. That's a clean block by Hasse. Mercer trying to battle their way back in this one.
A 56-42 advantage, and the Paladins team. Bob Ritchie calling that timeout. And let's send it over to Aaron.
Bob Ritchie telling his team that even though we have a 14-point lead, we cannot sit back right now. We'll be okay if we start guarding. We cannot let Mercer do whatever they want out there. Put a big emphasis on defense the rest of the way, guys.
Paladins saw that zone. You just see those curveballs every so often. They get teams slowed down. Going inside, Slauson, good movement on the baseline.
Nice pass by J.P. Pegues. Slauson staying patient when getting the ball close in towards the rim. Nice finish. Furman needs to continue to move the ball and create some turnovers. They haven't done as good a job. Mercer in the second half, much more sure with the basketball.
And a stat that jumps off the page, they've made 6 field goals and gotten some help in doing so.
5 assists on those 6 made field goals. I mean, they're creating things from the top of the key. That's when you can enter the ball. Oh, that's a late call. My goodness.
Hasse will go to the line. First on Alex Hunter, trying to help out on defense. He's in a bit of disbelief back in his home state. From Raleigh, played at Leesville Road High.
But what I like about Mercer is doing is the fact that they're entering the ball into the post from the top of the key. Because last game at the Well during the regular season, they were trying to enter the ball from the 45. When I say 45, it's out. How should I describe that, Pete? It's out on the wing. That lets the help side come over and play on the backside. There's no help when you enter it from the top of the key. And that's been Mercer's focal point when entering into the post.
Hasse matches Robertson's 13 to lead the way for the Bears, who are trying to continue to whittle this thing down. Back within 14, it was a 46-27, 19-point Furman advantage at the break. Looks like they've gone back to man. Or am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. They're triggering back to man after the second pass. And that's resulting in a little bit of confusion and stalling at the beginning of the clock.
Pegues, a couple of threes in the first half. And there's Robertson on the rebound. Mercer Bears from Macon, Georgia. Furman Paladins from Greenville, South Carolina. Robertson penetrates, finishes off the glass.
Kamar, the pit bull Robertson. Big move, sitting on top of the defense. Hey, if I'm Furman, I'm moving forward right now. I'm going to go ahead and run my man sets, because as soon as they pass the ball the second time, they trigger back to man-to-man. So now Mercer's back into a man-to-man defense. Run your man sets and let the ball find you. Oh, Conley Garrison, that was a risky one, and he knew it.
Garrison picking up a second foul. Hasse, that's a tough defend for Slauson, especially on the point of the floor where they just were. I think he's done a solid job tonight.
Well, where Slauson has the advantage over Hasse is if he faces up and drives. When he backs him down, Hasse can use his size, and that's where he's going to be able to have an advantage if you're not using your quickness against him.
Tyree Shuey defending Hasse out on the wing. Coming up on 12 and a half to go. Bears score here, things start getting real interesting. Hasse thinks he's the one to do it. Off the hesitation, can't get the roll, and Socon, nice job defending and rebounding.
Wow, that's tough. That's the third one for Mercer that's just gone in and out. And then the problem with that, you don't hit layups. Furman's off and running.
They closed quickly as Socon saw a lane. Paladins have been efficient with the ball again tonight. Just 4 turnovers. Pull up by Hunter. All-time leading three-point maker in Paladins history.
Big time shot. Kamal Robinson thought he got pushed to the floor, but Alex Hunter, he can pose those problems too. He hasn't prepared for his shot like he has earlier in the season. He walks into that one, knees are bent, butts down, extends up. He is a big time shooter when he prepares for his shot, and a big time defender on defense too when he's locked in.
Catch and shoot. Hasse off the screen from Johnson.
Speaking of big time shooters, Hasse can really get it going from the perimeter. 40% on the season, and you can see why at 6'10", just extends right over the top, Pete.
On offense, he's more like a 3. When he was in South Carolina, they wanted to kind of have him play bulky and play more like a 4. And Greg Gary has made the system work with the Bears. And they'll get Felipe Hasse on the reach in. You can tell his expression was one of disbelief, if nothing else. He's got 2 personals. Mercer trying to hang in. Ingles, Socon basketball here at the tournament. And beyond here in the Asheville area. Back to action, the Mercer Bears trying to come back on Furman. Conley Garrison, the Paladins, led by 19 at the break. Bears have gotten as close as 12 here in the second half. Mike Bothwell crossing over. Victor Bafuto just checked in. Bothwell. It'll be a shot clock violation. Play will continue. Unless that grazed the rim, I don't think it did.
How about the defense from Bafuto? Hasn't played all game, comes in, stays in front. Good solid effort by Bafuto.
Hasse. The cutter, Walker, goes strong over Foster, knocked out of bounds, and back over to Furman.
A bit of a sarcastic cheer from the coaches over on Furman's bench. Second half has been Mercer's half so far. I mean, terrific all the way around, but 8 of 11 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. Furman getting so many stops in the first half wasn't transferred to this half, Pete. Starting to pick the intensity back up and the activity back up.
Walker not only going to the bench, but he heads to the dressing room, as you just saw, so perhaps in need of some attention from the athletic training staff. Jordan Jones on the floor in his place. Bothwell, strong player, Bafuto.
Oh, man.
Will be called for the foul. Thought that might roll in, and it would be an and 1.
And they're cross-matching Bothwell. They're putting big guys on him, and what's happening is he's able to attack the closeout, put him in the right spot, fake one way, go the other, get the big guy up in the air. That's typically one that Bothwell will finish around the rim because of his strength. Bafuto just a little bit too big to finish through the contact with. Bothwell, really good player in his own right. Shocking that he missed that free throw, but earlier this season went for 30 against Louisville. The Lou Henson National Player of the Week that week, which goes to the top mid-major player in the country, can score in bunches for this Paladins team. 84%
this season. He and Slauson, particularly in Socon play, kept going back and forth in terms of the team's leading scorer. Out to a 13-point game after the Bears had gotten within 12.
And one to keep an eye on if it's me and you, Pete, because he wants to go into broadcasting. We got to keep an eye on our job here in Asheville.
Robertson off balance, and Slauson took the rebound away from him. Paladins on the push. That's Bothwell. Kicks in the corner. Hunter. Little shovel back. Oh, wow. Bothwell's going to get that to go down. And again, Hasse holding his ground.
Well, hustling back and getting back into play was Hasse. I mean, they need him to be that extra effort guy to finish out this game. And nice shot. Jalen Johnson coming off a ball screen, getting into the 15-foot range, can elevate over the top with his length.
Slauson shovels out on the wing. Hunter out high over Bafuto.
Big time shooter, Pete. Alex Hunter with his feet set is something to behold. can get hot in a hurry. He always does it within the flow of the offense. You don't have to force the issue if you're a guard for Furman because they move the ball at such a high rate. When his feet are set and he's in shooting position, it's knockdown.
4 Paladins in double figures. Hunter now has 11. Bears are shooting nearly 70% in this half, but have not been able to get the deficit down to single digits. Johnson and the rebound taken by the Paladins. Marcus Foster. That was almost an over and back, but the ball stayed ahead of the line. Under 8.5 to go. Hunter. Bothwell skies for the rebound. Johnson paid attention because he almost snuck in.
Oh, come on!
Wow!
What are we talking about, Pete? Big time finish. Alex Hunter, the up and under. The dipsy-do, if you will. Big time finish. Offensive rebound and extra possessions. Furman is back to rolling. Big time finish.
Hunter has 13 points, and the lead grows back out to 16.
And how about the up and under? Extremely athletic. The right hand, the spin, the bucket.
Furman women getting ready for their game tomorrow against the Furman women. I'm here with head coach Jackie Carson. How excited are you guys about your championship matchup tomorrow?
Absolutely excited. This is the most fun I've had in a long time coaching this group. They're super excited. This has been the expectation all year, so we're excited to take the floor tomorrow.
What's going to be the mentality of the team going in?
We always want to have 3 outcomes: have a lot of fun, play together, and play very connected and execute. So as long as we do that, we'll be fine.
How special is it to take somebody like Tiara Hodges to the championship game?
Well, this is the goal. This is the goal. I really wanted the player of the year for her. She really wanted the championship. So to be able to get her to this point has been really special for our program.
All right, awesome to see you here supporting the guys. They came and watched you guys earlier this week.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys have been tremendous supporters. Bob's a great friend, and we're great allies for one another. So this is going to be exciting.
All right, thanks, and good luck tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Jackie Carson getting ready to coach in a second Socon championship game since 2019. She won the title as a player, was the player of the year.
An alumni.
2 times.
Yeah, an alumni coming back and winning it as a coach, too. That's got to mean a lot.
2-time player of the year when she was a great player for the Paladins. Coached the player of the year this season. Won a championship at Furman and now trying to win one as a coach. And Bothwell, after the Victor Bafuto basket, Bafuto had 8 points in the first meeting against Furman, and that bucket, a really nice play call out of the timeout by his head coach, but Robertson just picks up the personal foul. That's his second.
Bothwell's so difficult to manage when he gets to his left hand because he's so strong physically. He can just sit on top of the defense, especially when he's playing against a smaller guy. Even though a very strong smaller guy, Kamar Robertson, it just doesn't matter because he plays with such good balance on that side of the floor.
Bothwell, one of 3 Paladins with 13 points, along with Hunter and Slauson. Garrison leads the way for them with 15, and
Substitution number 13.
now 14 points for Bothwell. Mercer trying to find the juice that got him a little bit closer. Pulled him from 19 down to the half to within 12, but Jones with Walker having exited. I don't believe he's returned to their bench. Bafuto! Not that time for the native of Brazil. Pegues around Robertson.
How about the patience from the freshman? And by the time freshmen get to this part of the season, you get to March, you're what you're going to be as a sophomore too, Pete. That is a big-time move, shows good patience. The beginning of the year version of J.P. Pegues would have rushed that ball up. Excellent patience on the offensive end.
One of the building blocks of this program. This Furman program is going to be good for a long time. They've done a nice job acclimating a good young core of talent with the veterans.
Well, Bob Ritchie talks about being long-term greedy and continuing, like you said, to redshirt several players. And really, they look like they're old, but outside of Hunter, Bothwell, and Slauson, it's really a bunch of sophomores and freshmen that have been able to compete for minutes and produce. But long-term greedy is the exact phrase that Coach Ritchie talked about.
Hunter in the lane. Foster. Bafuto the foul. And keep in mind, because of the pandemic and the added year, both Slauson and Bothwell could come back for another season next year. Which would
Well,
really,
Bothwell's just a junior, correct?
Bothwell's in his 4th year. Slauson's a junior because they redshirted him.
Yep,
and so they
excuse me,
each get the extra year back. But the point being that, I mean, wow, you talk about, and it's kind of like what happened with the Furman women's team. We're just hearing from Jackie Carson, her great player, Tiara Hodges, took the benefit of that extra year this season, and she ended up with the team, and she told us the other day, with the way the pandemic worked out, I ended up with more numbers. She played 17 players in a game recently to Jackie Carson because she has so many players on her team as a result of the pandemic and the extra year. And Foster knocks down another free throw. 20-point game.
Jason Slauson.
Paladins have led by as many as 21, coming up on 6 to play. Bafuto seeing extended time out here. Finding the cutter, Robertson, but Bothwell takes it away. Pegues had a 6-for-9 night against Western Carolina. His coming out party when he had a career high of 18 in that contest. So one of those guys, when he gets hot, he's hot. He's hit some threes tonight. Hasse, but once again that crowding on the one side of the floor, and it leads to a turnover.
Yep. They try to move it from side to side. Sometimes the other guys get a little bit stagnant when they get the ball over there. Tough to really make anything happen. You got to get it to where you try to attack closeouts, and now Mercer sliding into a 2-3 zone. We'll see if they stick to the zone or not.
Hunter kind of went without a whole lot of pace to set up the shot, couldn't get it to fall. Almost like he was trying to diagnose. Bafuto couldn't make the catch, but Bothwell was the last to touch it.
Bafuto's brought some nice minutes. I mean, probably not the most skilled guy on the floor, but has run hard. Finished a couple of layups. I mean, seldomly used, but regardless, I mean, you need guys like that. The big Brazilian giving some quality minutes.
Johnson looking to get it in, and he will to Hasse. Mercer needs some points in a hurry. Robertson, strong move on Foster. That's tough to do. Work inside on the offensive glass and a scramble. Johnson hung up. Arrow keeps it in the Mercer end. Furman Paladins, one of the 20-game winners in the regular season in the Southern Conference, along with the regular season champs Chattanooga and Samford, which follows our game. Wofford got to 19 with their win earlier today.
I've got to give Kamar Robertson credit because he's still talking trash. Like the audacity of this guy.
Is there a Mendoza line for when you're not supposed to talk trash as the game goes on?
Well, I never realized one, but I mean, he's been good. I mean, he's got 15, 6, and 4. He's still playing with the same spunk that he's had the entire game.
Told you in our telecast last night, he's really into social media and videos and all that. He's a communicator is what he is. Bafuto, another strong move left of the bucket.
My man's playing well. Come in, give us some good minutes. Up and under.
18-point game. Paladins trying to milk some clock. They'll hit the court about 24 hours from now against the winner of the nightcap between Samford and UNCG. Johnson just picked up the personal foul.
That was an accident too. Yeah, that was an accident. He's coming off trying to guard, accidentally hits Slauson in the face. Can be frustrating.
1-1.
But I don't think this says anything about the type of team that Mercer is. Like Furman and Mercer, it's the worst matchup possible if you're a Mercer Bear, because Mercer loves to play slow and grind it out, but Furman's speed is the exact thing that can give you problems. They're so fast on help side defense. They get up and pressure you. And sometimes when you're playing two bigs and some lumbering bigs, if you will, and Hasse and Bafuto right now, like you're going to have a hard time rotating because you're just, quite frankly, you're just not as fast. And it's hard to assert your strengths in that occasion.
Johnson, after Robertson was hung up, overshoots the basket. 20-point game. Pegues and Walker just back into the contest. And boy, that looked like as much frustration.
That's exactly what that was. Two-hand push. I mean, I wonder if Walker's okay. He's limping around. That might be what's going on. He looks like he's in a good amount of pain.
Yeah. And maybe it was just he realized physically he couldn't defend. You mentioned Mercer trying to play with a slower pace because that guy right there, Neftali Alvarez, who came to their program last year from Fairfield, immediately took the reins. This became his team, ran the show, was sizing up for a big season. And with the combo they had with Johnson coming in from Wake Forest, Hasse returning, and the other guys around him, a developing Robertson, they thought they had a ball club that could make a run this year. They were picked in the upper half of the league. And when he went down in a game against Coastal Carolina in early December, he only returned for 2 more games within a 48-hour span during Socon play against Chattanooga, but was never the same after that injury, had to shut it down after that. But they are a totally different team, and Robertson might even be a more effective weapon in some respects had Alvarez stayed healthy. Running to the basket. Ooh, a rejection by the defensive player of the year. Bafuto, though, nice step around, and the big fella throws it home.
Man, he's come in, giving Mercer some nice things. Big time block by Slauson, but man, Victor Bafuto playing with patience. Nice move, making things happen. But to go back to Neftali Alvarez, that's somebody that would help control the pace for Mercer, and that's something they struggled with tonight. He would have been crucial to Mercer's game plan had he been there.
Bothwell defended by the freshman Jones. It's a tough assignment. Step back with 1 on the shot clock. And Slauson bats it out of bounds and luckily did not land awkwardly. Victor Bafuto has come in, and if nothing else, let folks know that he's still got some energy.
A little bit of up and under. Knows the shot blocker's coming over, and a big flush. Giving his team all he can, trying to get back in it.
Point shooter is the 5th-year senior from Raleigh. He's also an assist guy with Jalen Slauson finishing just like that. Slauson Defensive Player of the Year. He can play offense too.
Big time finish by Slauson and the perfect pass by Alex Hunter.
And that's our Geico play of the game. Couple of players teaming up on that. We've seen some fun action around the basket. Robertson for the Mercer Bears. 20-point game. They were down 19 at the break. Furman looking very well poised to make a run and perhaps become the first Furman team in 40-plus years to win a Southern Conference tournament championship and get back to the NCAA tourney. They were a dominant team in the 70s. All 6 of their Southern Conference titles came between 1971 and 1980. Pegues continuing to show his growth and forcing the shot clock violation.
Big time defensive stand. Kamar Robertson has been persistent in his attack to score today, but JP Pegues, he shows a lot of good things and a lot of potential moving forward with his lateral quickness, his ability to stay in front of the basketball. Today he's knocked down some shots as well.
Swing pass, Pegues. Battle for the rebound. Hasse does a nice job pulling it in. He's had a solid game. 16 points. That's his 6th board. Jones off the pump fake and the finish.
Tough move. All freshman team for a reason. Physically ready body. Athletic kid. Can really get to the rim. Excellent finish.
Paladin simply in clock kill mode now. Garrison crossing over on Hasse, who commits the personal foul on the Bears. They're 9th in the half.
Bafuto leaving no doubt. Garrison trying to get all the way to the cup. Nice drive, but Bafuto's brought the energy today. I mean, you have to applaud him for that. But at the same time, you know, it might be a little bit too little too late, Pete. This Furman team is on a tear right now.
Conley Garrison did most of his damage in the first few minutes of the game. Not able to get that free throw. Holds on 15 points. But he helped Furman jump out to a 7-0 lead. And before you knew it, Paladins were up by 10. And they've not looked back. About to make it 15 straight in their series against Mercer. Jovan Tucker.
Man, 15 feet and in. Jovan Tucker's a problem. He's hit a lot of difficult shots over the course of these first 2 days of the tournament. Doesn't look like they're going to make it to a 3rd day, but nonetheless, he showed himself well.
Timeout call by Bob Ritchie to sub in. Paladins scored 80 and then 81 points in getting the 2 regular season wins, and they're on the verge of that again for a third time this season against a very solid defensive team in Mercer. Bears give up just over 70 points a game, but Furman able to crack the code each time they faced each other.
Well, it's just the fact that they're so fast. I mean, that's the biggest thing when playing against Mercer. If you have the speed advantage, it's going to make it really difficult on Mercer, because they like to enter the ball in the post, run some actions out of the post, but because Furman swarms to the ball so quickly, it makes it difficult.
Joe Anderson, who hit 5 3-pointers in the first meeting, can't get that attempt, but the possession recycled by Alex Williams on the rebound. Here's Pegues driving on Bafuto. Williams on the wing.
Fresh off the bench, Pete. Hadn't played all day. I'm going to get in for the last minute 30. I'm going to knock down 3 on you. The freshman.
Really talented player out of Xenia, Ohio, but again, the minutes just haven't been available for him this year, but a player with a bright future in their program. Robertson hits that one, and Kamar Robertson, 17 points. He'll get some votes for all tournament team after his effort last night when he had a 16-point outing against Western Carolina. Heen. And the block by Bafuto. It'll go out of bounds. So we will wind this one down and get ready for Samford and UNCG. Samford Bulldogs.
You like guard play. That's going to be one to watch.
Yep.
Langley brothers against Quez Glover. High-level matchup.
Robertson pulls down the rebound. Paladins matching that 80-point plateau against Mercer for a third time in as many meetings this season. Robertson driving inside, counted, and he's fouled by Williams.
He's been good. Right now, 19 points, 7 boards, 4 assists. The Bulldog, they're going to try to switch, and Williams gets caught behind the 8 ball. You got to get out. You got to level off the ball handler, because if Kamar Robertson gets ahead of steam, he's going to be able to finish. He's been really the only guy that's given you consistently good minutes. I mean, Hasse gives you 16. He's been efficient, 6 of 9 from the field, but it's been Kamar Robertson that has really tried to keep his team in it, and his aggressiveness with the ball in his hands.
They'll have Robertson and Glisson to build around. Paladins will just dribble it out. J.P. Pegues, fellow freshman Jordan Jones, and the Furman Paladins will improve to 21-11 on the season. 15 straight against the Mercer Bears, and Bob Ritchie's team, denied last year in the Socon quarterfinals, moving on to the semis. 1 win away from playing for another Socon championship.
An all-around impressive performance by Furman, swarming on the defensive end, creating some turnovers, especially in the first half. Second half defense fell off a little bit, Pete, but for the most part, ball moved, guys made shots, and they can really damage you whenever all guys are hitting from the perimeter. 80 points, and it was a balanced effort. 5 guys in double figures. That is huge for Furman, because that means the ball's moving, guys are finding open spots, and they are connecting. Excellent performance by Furman.
As they say at this time of the year, the bracket has held chalk. All the higher seeded teams have come away with wins. In the case of the first 2 games, those who were favored struggled and eventually closed the deal. In the case of tonight's first ball game of the evening, the Furman Paladins jumped out in front and never looked back. 80-66 winners. Paladins going on to the semifinals for yet another year at the Socon tourney. Felipe Hasse did his part for the Mercer Bears, but there were too many Paladins attacking the basket. In the end, turns out that 4 Furman players score in double figures. Come back to us in just a little bit for the nightcap of Samford and UNCG. For now, for Terrence Oglesby and Aaron Summers and our great crew, Pete Kennedy saying so long from Asheville.